Hello, my name is Lily. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you clicking on this video and joining me for a week of reading indie fantasy books. I just had a romp. It was the best time. This is a genre that I've never read before, and I fear I may be addicted. This was a very casual reading vlog. This is like the only time I'm sitting down with you guys. Most of the time I was sick, so just bear with me and I hope you enjoy. It is currently about 10 p.m. on Wednesday. I have spent the entirety of my day writing a 7-page essay. So brain needs a break. Every single book that I picked out of my TBR job is extremely heavy and my brain just cannot, but we will still be reading fantasy. I just felt like I needed something really quick, really engaging. I kind of just went on like a Kindle Unlimited spree and downloaded a bunch of indie fantasy books that I could see myself being interested in. The theme of this vlog is easy on the mind, heavy on the content, but the one that I'm going to be starting out with is Reign of Shadows and Endings. This is the first book in the Legacy series. I don't know really anything about it. I've seen a lot of people reading The Lady of Darkness, which is like the second series in this world, I believe. I think I'm gonna lay down and read this book until I fall asleep. I will update you guys mañana. Hello, good morning. It is currently 10:50 a.m. on Thursday. And last night I ended up getting 18% through to page 115. That's just crazy because I read for maybe like an hour. The book that I was reading before, that was like my TBR book, genuinely was taking me an hour to read 30 pages. So it is a very welcomed change of pace. I am honestly enjoying myself. It's pretty well written. I mean, world building isn't going to be extremely intricate, but I'm enjoying it. So let me give you a rundown on what this world is. We have Fae, and then we have like the Legacy. One main character, Tessa, she is Fae. Then we have a Legacy, and I can't remember, Theon is his name. Basically, in this world, the Legacy are like the Fae's leaders. Every once and whenever they have this thing called the selection, where each Legacy chooses their Fae who's bonded to them and who's like their slave. And by the way, these bonding rituals, it's not a bond, it's an injury. She was chosen, obviously, she's in his realm. It's very fast paced. There's definitely lots of tension being built up. There's a lot of like alluding to the fact that it's going to be very spicy, but nothing of the sorts quite yet. So I'm on page 115. I'm going to read for a few hours and I will update when necessary. Okay, so I feel like I can better explain the bond situation. So the Fae are called the Source. They get selected, they become like the source of the Legacy's power. So that's why they're like bonded. The Legacy is like their master because they're basically pulling all of the power out of them. So also, I want to say that Theon is not a mean guy. He's not mean. He is a victim of the system as well. That's kind of what gets me with like dark fantasy or like dark romance. The romantic interest is like really just abusive. And in this case he is, but he's part of the system. Like the bonding is actually abusive, but it's the system of the world, right? And he's nice and he feels really bad. So I don't mind me some Theon. It is currently 11 p.m. and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. I just got to 50%. I am enjoying it, but there's a few things that I wanted to talk about that are bugging me. First of all, Theon's kind of turning into a dick, so I'm not a fan of that, but I think there's a possibility for a love triangle. At least I hope I'm right. Also, this world is like extremely modern, like they have cars and modern technology, so it kind of pulls me out of the story when he's like, listen Tessa, you can't escape this realm because the gods have chosen your power. You are the source of the Legacy. See what elemental power you have. So here's your tablet and you can go through and learn everything you need to know on this. There'll also be like a scene where he's like having an issue with like the kingdom or whatever. And he'll be like, oh, give me my laptop. I need to work. And it just feels like it's pulling me out of the story a little bit. I'm kind of stressed because I'm over 300 pages and I just hit 50%. So this is a long ass book. I am probably gonna read until he's done playing video games. didn't update you guys yesterday, but I did get a little bit of reading done. And then today I finished, what even was it called? Reign of Shadows and Endings. The ending did get me, but around the 50% mark, it started to get really repetitive. And this is like over 600 pages. It's ridiculously long. I think I'm going to update you guys on more thoughts tomorrow. Or tonight, I think I'm going to start the Zodiac Academy. I genuinely don't know anything about this. I know that it's written by two people, sisters, question mark. I know that it's like a dark fantasy, perhaps dark academia, given the name. I have literally been hearing about this since I was like 17. Everybody talks about it. Everybody loves it. I'm going to start the Zodiac Academy right now, tonight. So I've been bombarded with schoolwork, and I'm also super sicky. So I was planning on doing like a little cute sit down with you where I looked pretty and I could give you my thoughts on Reign of Shadows and Endings. But instead, I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys very casually while I'm fighting for breath. For my first dark fantasy, I feel like it was a good intro. There wasn't many explicit scenes. Like, it was a major slow burn. We didn't get into any like spicy scenes or whatever until very far into the book. I felt like the author was really trying to make that tension so that these spicy scenes would be like extra good or whatever. Instead, it just became really competitive. They kept on having the same exact conflicts over and over again. Neither of them learned their lesson. Writing wasn't that bad, but it's very reminiscent of Wattpad. While I was reading it, I was like, oh, I'm sure that I read a Wattpad One Direction or 5 Seconds of Summer fanfic exactly with this plot. And so genuinely, I couldn't help but think of the One Direction boys while I was reading this. Rating this book based on what it is, I'd say that I'm going to give it a 3 stars. I was entertained, but I wasn't fully invested, and I was getting bored at times. I could see myself picking up the rest of the series because it left off on like a cliffhanger. I don't feel the need to like jump into the second book right now. I think it's a good option if I'm nearing like a reading slump or something because they're so quick. 200 pages feels like 50. So 3 stars, not too shabby. I did start Zodiac Academy and I did as much reading as I could. Let me see where I am. Hang on. So I'm on page 48. So I really haven't done much reading. I'm only 10% through. The writing is very juvenile. There's also a main character named Orion, which is the name of the guy who single-handedly ruined my life in college. So that's honestly bugging me. And I'm not hooked. This is feeling like it honestly could be a DNF, which I'm really sad about. I'm gonna give it 100 pages. I'm gonna read right now. I'll update you when I'm at 100 and tell you if I'm gonna keep going or not. As of right now, I'm bored and this is kind of bad. Alright, you guys, I did end up DNFing Zodiac Academy. I had to. It was really poorly written, just really cringy. For example, she's like in the middle of this humiliation ritual type thing, and she's like describing how she feels it's supposed to be a big moment, right? She goes, I could feel the tears coming to my eyes, so I bitch slapped them down. Like, there was so much of like that type of cringe, you know? Also, everybody just kept beating each other up. I was so confused. If you guys don't know what the story's about, let me give you a little bit of insight. These 2 sisters that live in like our world, and the professor, Orion, comes and is like, you guys are actually the heir to the throne in this like other realm. I'm gonna take you guys with me. And then they have to find out what elements they have and choose which house they're gonna go into. It's very Harry Potter and like very typical for like an academic fantasy setting. Honestly, I just couldn't get through any more of the writing. I don't really care. This is a series that I could have enjoyed when I was younger, maybe like high school, middle school type. Probably not middle school, actually. If you do like the Zodiac Academy, I think it's honestly just because you're more fun of a person than I am. Like, I could see why this series would be really fun. Maybe I just need to let myself live a little, but I don't see myself pushing through it. So I think I'm gonna start another indie dark fantasy that I see so many people talking about. The reading vlogs are making me want to read it. So I'm gonna read Quicksilver. This cover is ridiculous, first of all. That's the main reason I haven't read this, but I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give it a fair shot. Guys, so I'm laying here reading this book and I just had to give a little update. I am loving, and I'm shocked. I was expecting it to be a little bit overhyped. This just goes to show you don't judge a book by its cover. This is honestly so good. I'm loving all like the side relationships, every side character. The world building is so good. I'm so intrigued. I can't wait to keep going. I will update you guys when I get a little bit further. I know I should tell you what the story's about, but honestly, I just want to read, so. I just hit the 50% mark and shit is going down, so I thought it would be a good time to stop and update you a little bit. First of all, I'm loving it. It's giving like soap opera if soap opera were fantasy. It's twisty and turny and juicy and messy. Here's a rundown of what's going on. So basically the story starts out with our main character committing an act of crime, a justified act of crime, because she's from like a very poor and low sector of this world that we're in. So anyways, she gets caught, gets in trouble, gets sent to the queen, who is like the main ruler. Within the chaos of that, she ends up somehow like unlocking the gates to the realms. Okay, so all the realms are now open, and that's kind of where our story kicks off. Our other main character comes in, Kingfisher, and he is the incarnate of death, is literally how he's like described, which is hot. And he comes in and takes her to his realm. So that's kind of where the story kicks off. That's what's going on, but there's just like so much more to it, and the side characters have so much depth, and I'm really loving them and interested in them. And overall, this is just a very well-rounded story. I'm enjoying it. Some of the sexual talk is a little bit throwing me off. You can't have it all, right? You guys, I just finished reading Quicksilver and it was ridiculously good. I was addicted throughout the entire book. It was just so unique. The magic system had to do with metal and alchemy. It was nothing like I've read before. The plot twists were insane. The ending was brutal. I can hardly wait. I just looked it up, and in November the sequel comes out, and I'm never really up to date with series, so I'm excited to read this book when everybody else reads it and freak out when everyone else freaks out. This is no like literary masterpiece, but I absolutely recommend it. It was seriously so much fun. And so for that reason alone, I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars, which is pretty high for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this week. I had a lot of fun reading a new genre, and I really enjoyed vlogging the experience, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Yeah, thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye!